This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
(6:45). This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Lal Mallavarachi and read by J. Yogaraj. First the headlines. The President says that new methods of purchasing and storing paddy will be introduced under the Agricultural Modification Program. A mechanism will be set up within 1 week to purchase paddy at 100 rupees per kilo. The Postal Department says the sealed packets of ballot papers for postal voting will be received from Wednesday. Body of the Sri Lankan woman among victims of earthquake in Turkey was identified. Egg producers say that they are unable to sell eggs at the fixed prices. News overseas. Earthquake hit Turkey, issues 113 building arrest warrants. In sports, Sri Lanka will meet Bangladesh in a match of ICC Women's T20 World Cup tonight. And those are the headlines. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says the new methods of purchasing, storing paddy will be introduced under the Agricultural Modification Program in future. The President made this comment today at a ceremony held in Parantan to inaugurate paddy harvesting season in the Northern Province. The President further said that paddy cultivation in the Northern Province will be expanded under this program. Iranamadu and Punnarin irrigational tanks will be renovated to provide sufficient amount of water for paddy cultivations and other crops. Small and medium-scale paddy mills will be started to produce more stocks of rice from Kilnochi district. Meanwhile, the Minister of Agriculture Mahinda Amaraveera said that the government will implement a mechanism within a week to purchase their paddy at 100 rupees per kilogram. A joint mechanism has been set up by the Finance Ministry and the Ministry of Agriculture. A secretary to the Ministry of Agriculture, Gunadas Amarasinghe, says that 10 billion rupees have been set aside for this purpose. Relevant funds have been already released to the district secretaries. Another meeting in this regard will be held with the President on Wednesday. The Sri Lankan Embassy in Turkey says that the body of a 64-year-old Sri Lankan female who was living in Turkey and reported missing after last week's earthquake has been identified by her daughter. The deceased woman, who is from Galegedera in Kandy district, had left for Turkey around 20 years ago, according to the Sri Lankan Embassy in Turkey. Earlier, Sri Lanka's ambassador in Turkey stated that all 13 of 14 Sri Lankans believed to be in earthquake-affected areas of Turkey were safe and they have already been traced. The ambassador had also appealed to the members of the public to convey any information about Sri Lankans living in Turkey. Deputy Postmaster General Rajitha Ranasinghe says that the distribution of the official poll cards of the upcoming local government election will begin on the 20th of this month. The returning officers will hand over them to the Postal Department from 19th of this month. Meanwhile, the sealed packets of the ballot papers for postal voting will be received from the Printing Department from next Wednesday. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
People's Bank Isuru Udana gift certificates, a valid gift for any child.
Egg producers are grumbling over forced price reduction in the market through the Consumer Affairs Authority's control. The authority fixed the price of white egg at 44 rupees and brown egg at 46 rupees on January 20th, after the prices skyrocketed to a high as 70 rupees in local retail market. Chairman of All Island Poultry Farmers Association, Ajit Gunasekara, said that their cost is high and they cannot give eggs for 44 to 46 rupees. 4 persons, including a school teacher and 3 students, have reportedly drowned after a boat capsized on a lake at Thandamalai in Kokkatichole, Batticaloa. According to reports, 4 male students, 7 female students and 3 teachers were on the boat when it had capsized this morning. Police said that a 27-year-old male teacher and 3 16-year-old boys were reported missing after the capsizing of the boat, while the rest of them had been rescued. And that's local news.
Your sister got him the most valuable gift of all.
My family will do anything for our child's future.
People's Bank Isuru Udana gift certificates, a valuable gift for any child.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Ministry of Agriculture has requested the Finance Ministry to impose tax on imported potatoes. Minister Mahinda Amaravira noted that the Ministry of Finance has not responded regarding the matter, although it was informed in writing to the Ministry Secretary to impose tax on imported potatoes, since it is a responsibility of the government to safeguard local potato farmers who invest a huge amount of money in farming. Furthermore, the minister mentioned that he will present facts to the President regarding this during the cabinet briefing or cabinet meeting to be held tomorrow. And that was top news.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight, the Ministry of Health says a decision has been taken to postpone non-essential and non-urgent surgeries at government hospitals. Minister of Health K.L.A. Rambukwele mentioned that the surgeries that can be postponed on a medical recommendation have been advised to be delayed for a short period of time. However, essential and urgent surgeries will be performed as usual. That came to you in Watchlight. And moving on to world news headlines. Quake hit Turkey's use 113 building arrest warrants. DR Congo soldiers get death sentence for coward act against M23 rebels. Ancient stone stools made by early humans were found in Kenya. And those are the headlines. Officials in Turkey say 113 arrest warrants have been issued in connection with the construction of buildings that collapsed in Monday's earthquake. Turkey's police have already taken at least 12 people into custody, including building contractors. Meanwhile, unrest in southern Turkey has disrupted rescue efforts in some places. The number of people confirmed to have died in Turkey and Syria has risen to more than 28,000. A court in the east of Democratic Republic of Congo has sentenced 7 soldiers to death for coward act in the face of an enemy and a murder. And they were found to have fled advancing M23 rebels, retreating through the town of Sake, where they killed 2 people by recklessly discharging their arms. Lawyers for the soldiers said they would appeal. Archaeologists in Kenya have dug up some of the oldest stone tools ever used by ancient humans, dating back around 2.9 million years. It is evidence that the tools were used by other branches of early humans, not just the ancestors of Homo sapiens. The tools were used to butcher hippos and pound plant materials like tubers and fruit, the researchers said. The 2 big fossil teeth found at the site belonged to an extinct human cousin known as Paranthropus. And that's world news. Development news. Litrogas Lanka Limited says it has played a pivotal role in empowering the country's key industries, especially the large-scale dollar-earning industries during the recent crisis. Despite the forex crisis, Litro managed to continuously cater especially to the B2B sector to ensure export activities are carried out uninterrupted. During this period, Litro also accommodated the clientele of its only other competitor, making sure local industries can carry out their operations swiftly despite the less than ideal circumstances. Apart from facilitating an uninterrupted supply, Litro also supported customers during this period by providing logistical services as well as the technical support. And moving on to sports news, the 5th match of a Group 1 of ICC Women's T20 World Cup between Bangladesh and Sri Lanka will be played today in Cape Town. The match is scheduled to begin at 10:30 p.m. local time.
Go එකක් තියන youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීත හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account. NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Sri Lanka's Dialog Axiata, which has interests in mobile, fixed access telephone and pay television, said it 8 billion rupees in the December 2022 quarter amid write-offs, higher energy and finance costs. Dialog reported losses of 1.01 rupees per share for the quarter. In the year to December, the group reported losses of 4.04 rupees per share on total losses of 33 billion rupees. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go එකක් තියන youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීත හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account. NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
In economic news, Sri Lanka's coconut auction prices fell for the fourth session by 2.5% from a week ago at an auction on February 9th, data showed. The average price for 1,000 nuts fell to 73,480 rupees and 97 cents from 75,396 rupees 69 cents a week earlier at the weekly auction conducted by Sri Lanka's Coconut Development Authority. And that was economic news.
Weather report.
The Met Department says that showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in Ratnapura, Kalutara, Galle and Mathura districts during the afternoon or night tomorrow. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere over the island. And that was the weather report. And to wind up this news broadcast, let's look at the main points once again. The President says that new methods of purchasing and storing paddy will be introduced under the Agricultural Modification Program. A mechanism will be set up within 1 week to purchase paddy at 100 rupees per kilo. The Postal Department says that the sealed packets of ballot postal voting will be received from Wednesday. Body of the Sri Lankan woman among the victims of earthquake in Turkey was identified. Egg producers say that they are unable to sell eggs at the fixed prices. News overseas. Quake hit Turkey issues 113 building arrest warrants. In sports, Sri Lanka will meet Bangladesh in a match of ICC Women's T20 World Cup tonight. And with that, we conclude this evening news broadcast of Sri Lankan Broadcasting Corporation.